Hi everyone, so in this video, I want to talk about a personal growth system that's been valuable to me that I'm using to be able to help hit my goals and do more specifically in my family and also in my health. And I want to talk to you about this as well. These are specific goals that will help you financially, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and also in relation to your health. So let's break it down. The personal growth system focuses on three specific things. One is define, okay? That's the first stage. The second phase is to align, okay? And the third phase is what we call growth, all right? So remember, all of these three connect together to help you to think more deeply about how you personally grow. I love this quote by John Maxwell, one of my favorite authors, and he said, "You will never change your life until you change something you do daily." And this is something that I learned personally. The year was 2008, and I was suffering with a condition called idiopathic rheumatoid juvenile arthritis. And as a result, I had two doctors on two separate occasions tell me that I'll never be able to walk again. And I remember hearing this news. I was 14 at the time, and then later on in 2008, I was in my early 20s. And I remember just thinking, like, how does this even work? You know, from 14 to that early 20s until I had my operation, I was suffering with this condition and not being able to walk. At times I was bedridden. At times I couldn't even get to the toilet in my own home. I would have to army crawl on the floor if there was no one in the house to help me be able to walk. And the fact that I'm here walking and standing like this every day is a miracle. And I want to talk to you about why personal growth is so important. I remember specifically when I had my operation, the doctors told me that, okay, now you've had your hip replacement surgery on your left hip, it's going to take you about 6 months to be able to know how to actually walk again. So I had to use crutches. I was kind of pushed out of the hospital in a wheelchair, and then I had to move into crutches. But my mum took me home and she said, "Leif, two things. Number one is I'm not going to treat you like a victim." That was one powerful thing that she said to me. And the second thing she did for me was she focused specifically on what I was eating, what I was consuming on a daily basis, because she believed that your health is in your food and that your food is so valuable to help you be able to heal in the right way. Now, this is not a training on what food to eat. Please do your own research. But my mom changed my diet. She gave me more greens. She gave me a more green-based diet. She had me like drinking juices, etc. And I'm telling you, within 3 months, I was walking into the doctor's office for a checkup, putting my crutches down. My doctor couldn't believe it because he thought in 6 months I would be walking again, but with crutches, but we did it in 3 months. The point I'm telling you about personal growth is it first starts in the mind. How do you think about yourself? Are you thinking about yourself from a victim mentality? Are you thinking about all the bad things that's happening in your life? But are you seeing that there's opportunities and there's abundance everywhere? And it first starts with your personal growth. One of my favorite authors, his name is John Maxwell. He writes this incredible book called Developing the Leader Within You. I've actually got another book over here from John Maxwell called Leadership. I've got a Bible from him that he created as well. I've got so many books from this gentleman. But one of the key quotes that I love from what he says, "You will never change your daily life until you change something you do daily." And we're going to talk about habits as well. So think about what you do on a daily basis. How do you start your mornings? How do you enter into the day? How do you actually get your work done? When you think about all of these things and you think about yourself from a personal growth standpoint, where have you been able to see the biggest shift, the biggest growth moments in your life? And I just personally believe it really comes down to this area of like just what are you doing on a daily basis, as the quote says. So let's talk about from the divine section. One of the key things that you want to start with is, okay, what is it that I want to achieve? And I call the first stage is you got to clarify your goals. Write the vision down and make it plain, it says in the Bible. But writing it down, getting your goals on paper is super valuable for you to be able to achieve some personal growth and whatever greatness looks like for you. Write your vision down. Put it on the wall. I've got you can't see it now, but I actually put my goals on the wall. You know, I wanted to be married by a certain time. I wanted to have children by a certain time. I wanted to earn a certain income by a certain time. All of those things I wrote down. and praise God, I achieved all those goals, and now I need to set new ones, and I'm going to set new ones. And I'm going to show you a new structure as to how you can go about setting your goals as well. The second thing you want to do is, in the define phase, you want to envision the future, right? You want to start to visualize the future that you want. What does it look like? What does my home look like? What does my family life look like? What does my wife look like? What does the car that I drive look like? I'm not talking about manifestation, by the way. I'm just talking about changing your mindset to envision a future that is better than your present, right? And living as if the present, and live in the present as if the future is done. Live in the present as if the future is already here. Like it's not actually bad for you to do that. Some people might not believe in this stuff, but personally for me, I've seen it scripturally. I've seen it in my own life that when you envision a powerful future, this will always be of benefit to you as well. There is something that I want to share with you next. And this comes down to, okay, how do you reflect your values in all that you do? Okay. What are the deep things that you value? Do you value home? Do you value your time? Do you value your health? Do you value your wealth? Do you value your spiritual life, etc.? What are the big things that you value? And when you look at your daily habits, your daily life, like John Maxwell says, you will never change your life until you change something you do daily. When you look at your values, the thing that you say you value, and you think about that daily, how is that reflected in your actions on a daily basis? Which leads me to my next point, which is where you must align your habits, right? There's this powerful book by John Maxwell. He calls it the Atomic Habits, the small little things that you need to do to be able to help you achieve your habits. So think about the triggers, think about the things that trigger you, think about the rewards that you get from the different habits, good or bad. How can you repeat the good habits and get rid of the dirty, the old habits, the habits that you don't want in your life? That's the thing that I think about here on a deeper level. And that leads me into my next point, which is about how do you create consistency, right? And I shouldn't even call it consistency, but I'll put consistency for now. But really what I'm talking about is how do you actually create systems? This is systems thinking, okay? What systems can you put in place to allow you to be able to hit the goals that you want? I'll give you an example. One of the key goals that I want to really do right now is that personally, this is just about me. I love creating content. I don't know why. It's just something that I've loved. And I just want to help people. And I want to be able to grow my business as well on a, I shouldn't say selfish level because I've got family to feed. But yeah, I need to grow my business. And I also want to create content to help people. And I want to travel. And I want to be able to minister to people and help people in a great way, right? But I need to have consistency in the type of content I'm creating. I need to show up more. I need to make myself present in what I'm doing as well. Now, for me, one of the key things I'm beginning to see is that, okay, cool. About 6 to 8 months ago, I realized that I was lacking systems, lacking consistency in regards to content creation. So one of the key things that I did, I began to look at my week and say, okay, cool. Now I've started to dedicate myself 100% to my business and I'm focused on my business. And if I look at my week, when I'm executing on client work, my execution on client work was taken over my whole week. And I didn't have systems in place to be able to execute at a high level for my clients. And at the same time, be able to find time for content creation. So I learned something called manager versus maker time. Manager, right, versus maker time, okay? And I'll do a separate video on manager versus maker time. But for the sake of this presentation, please go on YouTube, type in manager versus maker time and watch any video that you can find on that topic. And when I watched the video on this topic, it really helped me. I think the guy was called Rob Nicholson, whose video I watched first. And it basically just states that if you are the maker, you're the person that creates, you need to have blocks of time, no distractions in your diary that you prioritize to the making of work. Whereas if you're a manager, you might have smaller segments of time prioritized really well, but you have these segments of time for specific things that you need to manage. So I realized I was the maker. I am the maker. I'm the creator. Like today, now I'm creating content. For example, this morning, I've blocked out 4 hours of time just to focus on creating content in my business. All right. So those are the things that I'm beginning to see has high value. How do I block time out to do the making work and make sure that's in there? The next thing I'll talk about is on the align stage is you've got to set boundaries. All right. You've got to set boundaries. This is so important, right? Actually, I think there's an amazing book called Boundaries as well. And how do you put guardrails around your time? How do you make sure that it doesn't mean that if it's an emergency, people can't call you, but how do you make sure that people only call you at the times that that you've allowed? Like, your time is precious, and make sure that people can't just access you at any and all times. Have specific times that people can call you. One of the key things I've done is you can get a free account with a tool called Calendly. And if it's important enough and people want to book a time in with you, put the time schedule into your Calendly, send them the Calendly link and just say, hey, just book a time in with me if you want us to chat about X. Why? Because I've got certain things to do. I will speak soon. All right. Or if people can't call you, you may just text them, right? And say, hey, hit me up at X time. So you've put guardrails around your time to be able to align specifically with your values and these habits that you're building. Okay. The next thing is about grow. So this is where in the grow phase, this is where you want to make sure you've got to change. All right. You've got to change, and you've got to make sure that you embrace change, right? Because if you want to hit the personal growth goals for yourself, whatever you did to get to where you are right now will not get you to where you want to be going forward. So this means you have to change your daily habits. As the quote says, you have to change the way you think. You have to start to envisioning a future. And if you envision that future, what are the habits of that new you? What's the habits of that new person? And how do they act based upon the goals that you have decided for yourself, right? Those are the things you got to write. The next thing you got to make sure you do is not shy away, but seek challenge. Seek challenge, right? This is making sure that, okay, cool. Things are hard. Things will be difficult. Things will be hard, but go forward and seek and go and head anyway. There's an amazing scripture in Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and verse 10. And Ecclesiastes 9 verse 10 says, whatever your hands find to do, do it with all your might, because where we go in the grave, there's no life. And that's where all of us end up. So the Bible's teaching us that, look, whatever your hands find to do it with all your might. I think it's Colossians 3 verse 23 says, work as if you're working heartily for God. If you're a believer like me, that's what I believe. So I believe that, understand that, look, challenge is nothing I should shy away from. Challenge is something I should work at mightily. I should work at with all my heart, with all my power, and with all my strength. Why? Because challenge is nothing that I should be scared of. We run into challenge. We're not afraid of challenge. And the last point is an essential one. You've got to make sure that you expand your skills. Okay. You've got to make sure you expand your skills. Okay. Because like I said earlier, what got you here will not get you there. Now, there's 3 types of skills that you need to make sure you focus on. And this is what we call the technical skills. Okay. Technical skills. These are the skills that you master. This is like me as a designer, for example. You've got what we call our growth skills. Okay. All right. So just like your technical skills get you paid, your growth skills is the thing that you master in, so that you forever get paid, and you get paid a premium for the thing that you've mastered, because that's how you grow someone else. The skill that you have that helps to grow someone else's business or grow someone else personally. What are those skills that you grow in that you helped? So what are those skills that you've gathered, that you've mastered, that help to grow someone else in a powerful way that they'll pay you a premium for? And the last type of skill is what we call the soft skill. The soft skill. The soft skills, active listening, collaboration, being friendly and collaborative, etc. All of these soft skills are super vital, because soft skills make people want to work with you. Growth skills get you paid. Technical skills get you hired, right? So all of these different types of skills are what you need to expand and take to another level. Don't stay where you are. Set some goals. We're almost at the end of 2024. For example, in this when I'm at the time I'm recording this presentation, it literally is the 12th of November when I'm recording this presentation. But how can you take these principles and take yourself to the next level and have a PGS, a personal growth system, so that you can always consistently grow for yourself? Before we leave, I want to share with you one simple plan that I'm focused on. And it's not even a financial plan, but it's a personal plan. So one of the key habits that I want to develop is the habit of dating my wife. And it might sound so unusual to mention this, but the reason why I mention it is because I understand if my marriage fails in any way, then all of the goals that I want to achieve will be impacted by the state of my marriage. So we're making sure that on the evenings, if I'm around, I'm giving her time, but there's a specific day of the week that she gets a specific 2 to 4 hours of undiluted time, specifically, especially for her. Think about that. If you're a believer like me, as a Christian, then how do you do that with God? If you have children, and maybe you're not a believer, but you've got children, how do you spend that time with your children? If you've got a loved one or a relationship or someone that you care for, how do you do that with that person? If you've got family, maybe you're single, how do you do that with family, etc.? The point I'm making is this: are there special people in your life that you value, and you have those relationships that you want to basically make sure you focus on? How can you build habits around that? That's one example of how you can start to think about this process. Remember, set boundaries. People can't shed loads of your time, but what we're talking about is you're building the habit of quality time within your work, quality time within your relationships, quality time to grow your skills, and quality time to personally grow for yourself today. So if you found value in this video, just give me a comment below, type in value if you found real value. And if you actually want to know more from me of how I can help you, just click on the link in the description below, book a call, and let's have a conversation today. And this personal growth system is a valuable, powerful way to help you grow on a personal level. And I thank you so much for watching. Take care and have a good day. Bye-bye.